Alright, let's go.
About to go investigate that abandoned building over there.
Here we are going through the harsh Australian. Here we are. In the
No, I wasn't recording. Now we're sorry.
Bro. Here we are in the harsh Australian wilderness. And here we can see an ancient temple that was probably used to sacrifice pizzas to the goddess of love. As you can see down there, they put the pizza in and sacrifice it to the goddess of love. They'd make the pizzas using this huge metal contraption right here. Pretty funky stuff. So here we have an ancient pizza making device. What would happen is they would throw in pepperonis, right? And then shoot them out onto the pizza in the correct order before it was sacrificed to the goddess of love. Often they would add ingredients to the pepperoni. Sometimes like the fingers of their enemies. Purple punch, whatever they had laying around. Now I'm holding on for dear life as the drug dealers run down the trail. I can hear them off in the distance. Bears often frequent these parts as well. Not safe to sleep on the ground.
Are you gonna sleep up there?
Yes, sir. You probably should come up too.
How are you gonna sleep though? You have to relax your muscles.
I won't. Here we have what appears to be a power pole coming down. This would have been used to start the gas fires, which were used to sacrifice pizzas to the goddess of love. Right now, the only people that live in these woods are drug dealers. The drug dealers have been here almost as long as the people conducting the sacrifices. They were here when these buildings were all burned down back in the late 1800s. They often feed off of bears and ancient remnants of pizza crust that lasts forever. Frozen pizzas, despite their name, can actually last for a while in frozen. They just look really nasty and taste nasty and will give you food poisoning and often cause death. But the men have lived out here long enough to develop an immunity to the ancient frozen pizzas. Here on the ground we see what used to be a special concoction that was often sacrificed to the goddess of love. It was a sacred pizza dressing that was often used. It was known as Clorox. And this here bottle is one of the last specimens that we know in existence. There are only 3 in museums around the world. So a very precious specimen. Here we see another bottle. This was most likely used for sacred pizza sauce. That would have been mixed using the ancient Clorox. Here we can see bullet holes that would have been fired into this power pole. It was likely that a servant of the temple of the goddess of love was hiding behind this very pole as the drug dealers came to burn the place down. And here you can see that it was scorched, which is probably from a similar event. Somehow the pole was left intact, however. Mostly anyway.
Did she die?
The goddess of love?
Yeah.
She's not real. It's just a figment of their imaginations. Based off of an old pizza chef who disappeared off in the mountains down here somewhere. She was never found. So they assume that she had ascended up to heaven because of her amazing pizza recipes.
Same.
Here, now I must scale the ancient oven that was used to sacrifice to the goddess of love. The priests would climb to the top. They typically had ladders, or they would shimmy up trees as part of the ancient rite. The older priests would get ladders, and the younger men were required to climb up the trees for initiation. And the pizzas would be thrown in the top, until later on they started sacrificing them in the front of the oven in the early 1800s. Now I will climb to the top of the ancient stove, and we'll see how it goes. As you can see, my attempt to climb the ancient stove was unsuccessful, and unfortunately I've broken all 4 of my limbs and will probably die out here on my own because my cameraman is incompetent. Well, this has been Dr. Cantaloupe, and this has been Pizzology with Dr. Cantaloupe. Good night!